done so much for me, I cannot tell it all. If I had 10,000 times, it still wouldn't be enough.
Abshen. Dimelang tamanin. Mina bitora mina is Matthew Phosa. Ina laka kena Matthew Phosa. More than 50 years ago, I stood where you are sitting. I was as old as you are now, or as small as you are now, or as big as you are now. Nisungule ka class leya, my bon. Ke felle tsamot class A. Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, Form 4, Form 5. Those days. So tomorrow, even you will achieve what most of us have achieved. I'm here and I want to start by acknowledging the principal, Mr. Manyike. Sir, thank you very much for welcoming us to your school. To welcome the second manager and greet him, to greet Mr. Baloy, the chairperson of SBG, student school governing bodies. Thank you very much for your kind words of welcoming us. To thank my chairman. Did you hear what I said? My chairman. Chairman, stand up, please. That man, Imuranga Rwamina, is my chairman. He's the chairman of the alumni of the school, representing hundreds and hundreds of former students of the school who are all over the world today. Some of them are doctors of different things, engineers, lawyers, nurses, professors of different things. He is our leader, he was a chairman. But we want to be led by young people because they are the future. You are the future. There's no other future without you. And to acknowledge my secretary, Mr. Ngobeni. Mr. Ngobeni, please stand up, let them see you. Where is he? He is the secretary of this huge body of alumni of this school. They keep us in check. And his deputy is one you gave just now, Ms. Mpumalanga, Claude Mashir. Please stand up again. Do you see that we are being led by young people? Tomorrow, you must be the one who lead us. Yes, you must be the one who lead us tomorrow. And you will have no choice but to lead us. Because the future will be looking into your face and your eyes. Now, I want to say to you today, I've been asked to talk about Mandela, our first president, black president in this country. Mamutiwa Mandela. Yeah, I want to tell you about him. And I want to tell you what lessons I've learned from him. Mandela was a university of life to me. A university of life. What he taught me and others, no university can ever teach you. It does not matter how many millions you pay. And my theme is, we want you to be winners. All of you. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. Mandela was in jail for 27 years, humiliated, tortured, made to break rocks, to dig holes, in prison with all his education, humiliated by some of the most uneducated Afrikaners. They kept him in jail at Orhovelani. I was one of the first, maybe before I say so, I was one of the ANC activists who fought against apartheid with many, many others. And I ended up in exile. I lived in Mozambique for 7 years. And I forgot that I was a lawyer. I became a military commander. The commerce bomb and bombs. And faced the enemy, who was the enemy of apartheid, to try and free the country from the yoke of apartheid. But while we were busy with that, a moment came that we should talk to one another as South Africans and find peace and try and get political freedom. I'm saying political freedom, but we must still get economic freedom. It's a journey. And we started a discussion. I was sent back by Oliver Tambo with 3 other people to come and start the discussions. And Mandela was just released from jail with Walter Sisulu, Governor Mbeki, and others. The country was upside down. It had been made ungovernable by the democratic forces in South Africa, led by the United Democratic Front and many other formations, the churches, civic organizations. You are lucky to be born when these things are history. But those were the realities of our time. There was a state of emergency in this country. The soldiers were moving all over the townships, all over the villages. We were like occupied, all of us. The jails were full of political prisoners. It was not only Mandela. There were many others in prison all over the country. Some people were facing the hangman. They were being hanged to death for saying, we want our dignity as black people to be restored. And they were being charged and sent to prison for so long for doing that, which forced the black people to take up arms to fight against the violence of apartheid. Many people were left in exile who had to come back. All these people in jail had to be released. Those who were in exile had to return back home to start the process of peace, nation building, and begin to undermine racial divisions in the country. The whites were very frightened of black people. And some people said we'll drive them to the sea. Of course, we didn't want to drive anybody to the sea. We wanted to be free. We wanted our dignities to be restored as people. Mandela realized that it is important to diffuse the situation in the country, and that we should work towards diffusing the situation in the country. The following became very clear. Then we can pick up the lessons. That it was necessary to define a clear vision where to go with the country. Because you will never reach your destination. Is that not true? You have to know where you are going. Then you can start that journey and reach your destination. So we needed to say, what do we want to do with this South Africa? We needed to create trust across the board for people to be able to trust one another and talk in a process that is inclusive. Mandela believed that if you want peace, you must bring everybody to the table who's fighting with one another. Is that very clear? So that they can sit around the table and talk together until they find each other, not as enemies, but as fellow citizens. That was part of the lessons. Mandela realized that in order for us to move forward, we must create a basis for forgiveness. A basis for forgiveness. It is not easy to forgive someone who was jailing you, who was killing you. But Mandela was asking us to forgive the people who did those things to us. You agree, you don't agree. But the fact of the matter, in a Christian setting, forgiveness is noble. But you don't take advantage of me because I'm forgiving you. You must also be genuine in that forgiveness. And that's what we expect. But Mandela taught us that. We must promote love, not hatred. Love is very important. Love is very valuable. Love is everything. When you He promoted love. He promoted respect. Love, respect, not hatred. You can take those lessons to heart. If in the last week, if the last week have taught us anything, it is the values of our beloved President, Mandela. He touched every life. He always believed, if Mandela was here and there was no COVID, do you know what he was going to do? He was going to walk amongst you and shake each one of you's hand and greet you before he goes to sit there. He was going to greet everybody because he believed that everyone is important. Every human being is important. Important. I'm not more important than the other. We are all important. We are all human beings made in the image of God. Exactly. He believed in that. So he became the first black president of this country. He was a president of everybody, black and white. Whereas de Klerk was only a president of the white people, Mandela became the president of everyone. I want to share some of these characteristics with you of Mandela. And those characteristics make up what the ANC should be today, but it is not what it should be. We should be asking ourselves daily as individuals what we can do and mustn't do that his light and legacy will live on forever. And perhaps the best way to do this is to look deeper and to ask what is it that what made him so special? And what can we learn from his example? What is it about him that was able to break down barriers, perseverance, way beyond human endurance? He was committed to a cause that we have, and he made it abundantly clear that he was prepared to lay down his life for his cause. He was certainly not the agenda of self-promotion and self-enrichment, but of selfless service to humanity. Today, you find people in positions of power, but kuna corruption, corruption, kuiba, to steal the money of the people is corruption. Mandela never believed in that. He said, "Sulago utirela banu, amsambik bagu utirela chitungu, mashtiba chitungu, shaba." That's good. So he demonstrated a single-minded dedication to liberate all the people of South Africa into a political system that is free and fair. And he exhorted us to demonstrate our love to our country, our love to our neighbors. The Bible says, you shall love your neighbor as you love yourself. The Bible says, you shall love your neighbor as you love yourself. Mandela demonstrated that. We need to develop that same winning and conquering attitude and spirit that understand that adversity is the breakfast of champion and never accept disappointment at the first door of encounter. Madiba understood that honest hard work, dedication, and commitment on the present are an investment into the future and will create an energy to propel us to forward into a better life for all. Under his watch, nothing for mahala. There are those today who think they can get many things for mahala. There's no mahala in life. You have to work hard. Hard work is a good trade. Mandela preached hard work. Mandela knew that genuine growth and development had to be underpinned by a very solid foundation of a sound education, a stable economy, responsible industrial citizens, and a visionary ethical political leadership who put people first and the country before anything else. You will understand that if you don't get educated, you are going nowhere. Education is the key to the future. I've talked about this school producing doctors, engineers, lawyers, nurses, teachers. They got educated. There is no shortcut. And I'm going to buy a Rolls Royce and tomorrow I'll be rich. You can buy a Rolls Royce, tomorrow you need petrol to put in the Rolls Royce. You understand? So you have to get the education first, which is your Rolls Royce in life. Education will see you through. South Africa is a very unique country. We've been left an unparalleled legacy. For example, leadership, which we're called upon to emulate. We've got many good examples of leaders. Some of them come from this school. I was talking to the HOD of education yesterday. Mr. Principal, is he here? Where is he? Are you here, Mr. Principal? Where is he? Mr. Principal, the HOD of the province says Orhovelani is one of the impact schools in this province. It's one of the impact schools because Orhovelani has impacted on society. Not only society in Mpumalanga, but nationwide. It has produced national stars in various phases. And in time, it must be recognized as one of those schools. You have to follow those footsteps of those who came before you. Those who came before you. The Mashiles, the Mashirus, the Ngobenis, the Mhlanga. The numbers are endless. The Mashianis, the numbers are endless. Endless examples. Mabundas, Mgibas. But those doctors? There are many doctors which were produced by this school. But there are many. Those are the young Mandelas. You must be the new Mandelas. And you must listen very carefully to your teachers. But Mandela says education is the key to the future. And if you don't get educated, don't blame your parents. Blame yourself. We should move forward with self-belief and confidence. We should acknowledge and celebrate our successes and not hesitate to claim them in the company of others. That's why we're proud of all the alumni of Orhovelani, Mariep Orhovelani, who came from this small rural school in the bush. We're not blind to the challenges we face, and we now need to take our ownership of them, those challenges. But we can only take the challenges on if we are educated. We must find ourselves that commitment to a cause that is bigger than ourselves, bigger than our own self-interest, enrichment, and false personal power. We should develop not only responsible corporate citizens, but responsible personal citizenship, where each of us, however great or small, makes a contribution to a betterment of our own lives and the lives of others. We should, as a nation, invest more time, energy, and money in the development of leadership in schools, universities, institutions, and companies. We need, as I said before, to reinvent many shapes and forms across our divide. In Mariba's words, education, and I'll read it slowly, is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world, close quote. It extends beyond the development of skills we need for economic success. It can contribute to nation building and reconciliation. All efforts to improve our people's access to education are noble. So education is the key to changing the world. We should, as Madiba did, develop an attitude that we are bigger than any challenge that we may face, however daunting it may be. We must treasure that past, but look consciously to more where Madiba's example is pulling us forward. We need a new approach to a rescue plan to restore the trust of in our judiciary, to safeguard our democracy, and job creation plan that is driven by the private sector and enabled by government policies and actions. Madiba taught us something, and I'll share with you. Humbleness is noble. Do you understand what humbleness means? It doesn't matter how rich, how important you think you are. It means nothing if you don't humble yourself, if you don't respect others. Must is to be humble. That's what we kokobed. What the tonga heart and respect other people. That's what Madiba taught us. Humbleness is noble. We need to confront the new challenges in our society. And we cannot confront those challenges with the tools of the past. Mr. Principal, I'm happy you're coming back. Because some of the things we say are not only for the students, but are for you, but for the school governing body, and for all of us. We as alumni, and I speak on their behalf, and before I go forward, I must apologize for Professor Edim Tlanga for not being here. But he's listening to us. He's following the proceedings. He said, I must tell you, he's here with you, even if he's not here in meat. He's here. He can see you. Mr. Principal, Mr. Manyika, Mr. Baloyi, and the school governing body, we as alumni of this school, in the spirit of Mandela, want to work with you. We want to work with you. Did you hear what I said? We want to work with you to reinvest in this school. The alumni delivered the books here, which you have. They are from the alumni. They delivered the timber. Did you see the timber? To make the shelves. It's from the alumni. We want to do more with you, Mr. Manyika, Mr. Baloyi. We want to work with you, second manager, to ensure that, when we left this school, I'm going to tell you, the walls of this school were still smelling of new paint. Can you believe it? It must smell again. We want these walls to be new again. The desks were not broken. We want to fix these desks again. And very soon we'll bring more desks to the school. And that is your alumni, those who were there before your time. They are looking back and say, how does our school look like? If you talk about that Mandela love, we should love this school. We should love you. We should be concerned under what conditions you're learning. We want to bring computers here. You have no computer center. We want to bring it here. But you must promise us that with that love of Mandela, you won't steal those computers. You must promise us that you look after them. You won't break those computers. Must one. About the premiers, the doctors, and the lawyers. So we all must work together. Mr. Principal, Mr. Baloyi, it's not my voice you are hearing. It's the voice of love from alumni who want this school. But we are not looking at the walls. If you think, because we want to see what is in the classroom. What are you learning? Today, we talk about technology. Must do this. Might what technology? It's not enough to know how to use your cellular or your computer. You need to have understanding of how technology works today. So the content of the education at the school is a matter of concern by us as alumni. Do you understand? We want to know, what are you learning? Mr. Principal, we won't interfere with your work. We respect you, but we want to be your partner in bringing intellectual change in the school. So our students, when they live here, not only are they employable, but they can be employers themselves. We don't want people who carry certificates and empty heads. We want people who carry certificates and being and knowledge which is useful to society. And that's what Mandela was preaching. Even saying some of the chiefs and the kings today must go to school. Because if those chiefs and kings don't go to school, they won't be able to govern us, because we'll all be too educated. And we don't want to be governed by idiots. We want people who are educated to govern us in this country. You must take responsibility for our future. I hope I'm making myself clear. The message is, education changes an individual's life. Education can change the world. So be educated and educated and educated. One Russian philosopher used to say, tell the children to learn and learn and learn. 3 times. 3 times. You got to learn and learn and learn. You must remember, if you don't learn, you're not cheating the teacher. You're cheating yourself. Yeah, you're just cheating yourself. You'll have half-baked knowledge. Who wants to eat half-baked food? We can't let you lose to society half-baked. You must be properly baked here. We're all baked here. So we have a journey together using Mandela's lessons to work together with you, with the principal, our principal, with Tatana Baloyi, and student governing, school governance body. Okay, Tatana Baloyi. We want to work with you. We want you to be a partner with us. We are not your enemies. We are your children. We are your children. They are your children. We must form a partnership of Orhovelani and say together we hold hands, we build a new Orhovelani. Do you accept that? Mafumel. Mafumel. Machaba so. Machaba Fumel. Vumanoe. Vumanoe. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I can assure you, it's not only us learning and wanting you to learn. Your parents want you to be educated. The nation wants you to be educated. And all of us are still learning as we go ahead. Thank you very much. Ke a leboha. Nkomo.